Good evening from Johannesburg. I'm Mdakane, the Provincial Secretary of the Young Communist League of South Africa in Gauteng province, and I'm also an international human rights activist through Boycott, Divestment and Sanctions South Africa. Welcome to Let's Have It Out on ANCYL. Tonight, every night here on ANCYL, a variety of different newsmakers would get a chance to host this program, interview people with whom we disagree, and give you a chance to get involved in the conversation. Unfiltered, accountable, accessible, and it all starts now. Tonight, I would like to discuss the scourge of rape and sexual assault and the ways in which some in society trivialize or even condone these heinous acts. The overall problem of sexual violence and rape is layered. It includes a variety of issues, from the way raped individuals are treated by the police to the way rape is portrayed by the media. This has, at its core, cultural features, for example, a society that defines, politicizes, and ultimately wants to control women's bodies. Victims are defined and unofficially classified based on how well they conform to a narrow and sexist-specific set of standards, which are almost always based on assumptions about a woman's value in general. This is the social construct that we must do away with. But where does our journey begin? To help me unpack this, I've invited Sizophila Mkhize, a National Executive Committee member of the African National Congress Youth League. But first, we want you to get involved in the conversation. Here's how.
Tweet us at ANCYL using the hashtag LHIO. Call us on 011-759-6340 or send us a WhatsApp or WhatsApp video on 082-884-6370. And make sure those videos are no longer than 30 seconds, please.
Mkhize, in South Africa, there's an inherently sexually orientated conversations that we have in every, corner of South Africa, in every corner of society, from high-rise buildings right down to the township, that have strong sexual connotations. And I think we've invariably come to know this type of conversations to be a rape culture. What is your understanding, or your organization's understanding of rape culture?
Well, for us, would say, or for me, I'd say rape culture, it will refer to a sociological concept which refers to a society or an environment in which whose prevailing views or attitudes promote or make an effect of normalizing or trivializing what you call sexual assault or sexual abuse in a more practical way, where, for instance, before we speak about a girl being raped, we start by saying, what was she wearing, before we speak about it. There's one case where there's always this notion or this perception that in a manner in which a lady dresses must not invite rape. So you ask yourself, where do you invite rape? I think it has gone from being looked at as crime and has went on to be normalized, to say it's not something that really shocks people anymore. That is why some people, it's even, they don't even report the case anymore to your police and whatnot, because they think that police would either laugh at them, because I don't think, from where I stand, it's not the way I like to call it, by the way. I've been arguing this, that when you call it rape culture, you're actually saying you are putting a stamp that it is a culture and you're normalizing it. I think I don't know what, I think we still need to find another packaging of it, and still to find another way of conceptualizing it, so that we'll be able to deal with it not as a culture but as a tendency, maybe.
Well, almost every political organization, including your organization, the African National Congress Youth League, has got resolutions on gender issues. How are you bringing to life those resolutions so that they find expression out there in society, so that they find expression in the institutions that be, so that our response to the overall issue of rape culture is that of finding punitive measures to do away with those who perpetuate this culture and those who commit the heinous crimes.
Well, as the African National Congress Youth League, we don't only speak about rape as it concerns the intercourse, but it starts from your sexual harassment, the way men choose to speak to ladies in a sexual harassing way, the manner in which they choose to just touch ladies randomly. I think for the Youth League it goes beyond just the intercourse, because the intercourse is usually the final stage, and it starts little by little.
Are there consequences?
There are consequences in the ANC Youth League. In the ANC Youth League, firstly, before we deal with society, we think it's very important that we clean our house first. So the ANC Youth League has a stand to say whosoever is found wanting as it relates to the issue of sexual assault or sexual abuse, that person must be brought to book and cannot be the member of the ANC Youth League, because amongst other things, we want females from 14 years up to 35 to feel safer in our organizations, to know that when they are part of our organizations, they can go with male comrades until at night at 1 o'clock in meetings, nothing is going to happen. We want them to feel safe in our own organization, and by that, we then have policies in place and resolutions in place, Congress resolutions in place, which speaks to what happens to a member of the Youth League who is found wanting in such issues. And then we go back to society to say, here is what is the approach that the society needs to take as it relates to the sexual assault and sexual abuse.
But what about the language that is used loosely, in almost every conversation, be it on social media, be it on public platforms, where your comrades, for instance, will say, hey, Chief, you are raping organizational processes, such language. But let's hang on to that thought. Let's talk about it. Let's take a short commercial break. We'll continue with this conversation.